to our Beyond Religion Summer Lunch and Learn series. My name is Jean Marie F. I'm the Associate Minister that oversees adult education, and we are pleased and honored to bring you this program this afternoon. Our mission here at Unity of Houston is to teach, love, and inspire people to be all that they have been created to be. And so if you're here for the first time and never been to Unity before and just happen to find this Lunch and Learn, we invite you to please pick up a Welcome to Unity packet in the lobby. It'll tell you more about our ministry. This afternoon, we are truly honored to have Reverend Thich Hang Dat here visiting with us to share his presentation on Introduction to Buddhism. This is the second in our series of 4 lectures from instructors from the University of Houston Religious Studies Department. Tickets are still available for the following 2 lectures, so please tell your friends how much you enjoyed the lecture today, and we hope that you'll be back for the remainder of the series. The program this afternoon is scheduled to go until 3 p.m. We will have a 10-minute break at 1:45 p.m. The restrooms are out in the lobby. Lastly, I'd like to remind you, please take the time now to silence your cell phones. And now a bit about our special guest this afternoon. Reverend Thich Hang Dat obtained a PhD degree in religious studies at the University of the West in California. Currently, he is teaching Buddhism, comparative studies of Buddhism and Christianity, and meditation at the University of Houston, Indiana University Southeast, and Indiana University, Purdue University, Columbus. So let's give a warm Unity welcome to our presenter today, Reverend Thich Hang Dat.
Thank you. It is my honor to be here this afternoon with you today, and as our schedule set up, this afternoon I'd like to share with you some thoughts about Buddhism. Before we move on, I would like to introduce myself. Like Reverend just mentioned, I got my PhD degree from the University of the West in Roseville, California. Actually I got my BS degree at Penn State University in electrical engineering. And now I'm doing dash that I'm in Vermont now. So, yeah, and I'm teaching 2 classes at the University of Houston in the fall at home on the table. If you have children or friends, you can refer them to my classes. The first class I will be teaching is the mindfulness class. The second one is comparative study of Buddhism and Christianity. I can have a brief conversation with reference. Somehow the Unity Church has some similarities with our Buddhist approaches. Like we talk more about the nature, the conscious nature, or the Buddha nature. Is our Buddha out there, so we will talk more about that today. Before we start the lecture presentation, I'd like to ask you that how many of you have known something about Buddhism? Wow, quite a lot. So I don't need to talk much then. Alright. So here, so you're welcome to ask any question regarding about Buddhism. And I'll be back on July 24. We talk about mindfulness. And I think regardless of the distribution role, mindfulness is get the tools was how to calm our mind, how to transform our mental disturbance. We'll talk about that. So let's talk about Buddhism then. So that's why we're here today. And hope you are members of the church. Our friends. So let's start then. Okay. Some of you have learned. Can what you share with us about what you know about Buddhism? Because I don't want to talk by myself. I prefer in my class, I prefer to have two-way conversation with me and my students. So I like to run this kind of session like this. So anyone can share with us? Yes, sir.
Thank you. I'm sure I won't get them all, but the first one I believe is that suffering exists, and that there's a cause for suffering, and then there's a way beyond that. And so I think there's one that I'm missing.
That's great. All right, thank you. Anyone? I like to warm up with your ideas, your knowledge about Buddhism, so that I know what I like to feel from you guys. Yes.
So, the phrase that's in my mind is I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, and I understand the Buddha and I understand the community. Dharma, I'm still struggling a little bit with it, so I know you'll enlighten me somewhat today.
Anyone? Thank you. Yes. You exercise.
Since it's one-on-one, will you be addressing some different types of Buddhism?
It's up to you. You can talk briefly,
Okay.
But this one I can focus on.
Oh, sure.
Let's do just that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone? Yes, please.
So I remember if you seek enlightenment to chop wood and carry water, and then once you are enlightened, you're supposed to chop wood and carry water.
Wow, that's wonderful. Yes, please. Yeah, great.
My understanding is that the source of suffering is attachments, and I used to think of that it's attachments to material objects, like I have to have this car, or I have to have this house, or my hair has to be this way. But then I've learned more that it's attachment to a belief that causes the suffering. So that I believe I have to have that car to be happy, or I have to have this thing, or an expectation. My attachment to an expectation is what causes my suffering. And if I can not be attached to that belief or change the belief, then I can change my suffering.
That's great. Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, please.
Suffering is caused by not accepting what is.
Anyone? Yes, please.
Nature of things for them to be impermanent, and so we look for them to be permanent to fulfill some kind of perceived void.
Okay. I'd like to warm up before I go detail. And in the meantime, if I'm talking, you can interrupt me anytime. So, last question. Anyone? Anything about Buddhism that you know of? Okay, great, thank you. All right, so let's go over again the basic principle of Buddhism. And please stop me any times if you don't understand or if you have any doubt and so forth. Okay. All right, so Buddhism is formed by Siddhartha Gautama in the 6th century BCE. We talk about Western Buddha and Buddha. And of course, who was born in, before it's India, but now it's called Nepal. Nepal is the smallest country between China and India. So this is what we have many such books, what we call the sutra. Instead of one Bible, we have 1,000 Bible, 1,000 sutra in both traditions. Mahayana, Theravada, from Rajana too. And we have between 200 up to 600 billion people around the world. But this, sometimes I have many friends. They consider themselves as Buddhists, but they don't go to the temple. When they read books, they understand Buddhism through books, through the net and so forth. But they live the way of the Buddhist way of life. But they don't officially come to temple to to do the service, like the simplest one. And Buddhism, of course, started from India and spread out in the Far East, and now it's spread everywhere in the West and so forth. And yes, right now we have two main principal schools, Mahayana and Theravada. We talk about that. And you see the map there. Who been in the Far East? Who been in China? India? Vietnam? Burma? Thailand? Have you seen the monk walking on the street with the arm, with the bowl, what we call arm hours, barefoot foot? That belongs to Theravada traditions. Okay? Yeah. And we start with Siddhartha Gautama. He was born around 563 BC in the royal castle, President Nepal, Gautama, and he has a legendary birth, life and death. So, you know, as the founder of any religion or traditions, there's some kind of legends involved. So, it's miracles. How many people believe in miracles? How many people have recognized or had the experience with miracles? What's about? Can you like to share? No, would you like to share some miracle that you could have experienced before? Would you mind? Okay. Make it short. Yeah, please.
I needed to sell my car because it wasn't working very well. And I just had a baby. So I was on the phone talking to my brother about needing to sell my car. I looked out my window, there was a guy looking at my car. So I went outside and I said, "Hi, I saw you looking at my car." I said, "Yeah, do you want to sell it?" And I said, "Yes." So we traded cars. He had a nice car, I had a classic, it needed a lot of work. We had a nice running car that didn't need any work. And so it cost me $35 to transfer the title.
Thank you. So, yes, please.
12 years ago, they gave me 6 months to live, and I stopped all the chemo I was taking and told them that it was not my time to go, and I'm here and I'm cancer-free.
In our times, even in this modern times, miracle happen every day. And it's up to us whether we have the faith or whether we could recognize or not. Of course, it's happened to me. Let me get a look over my CV. I was not Buddhist in Vietnam. I came to the States through, in the 80s, after the Vietnam War. The boat people, we escaped on the boats for 6 days and nights on oceans. And it's a miracle for us to go to the refugee camp. Otherwise, we would not be here with you guys today. And this is the turning point of my life. That's why somehow I start with that kind of turning points to look for a spiritual life. What go beyond this physical body? Yes, of course we need cars to ride, we need house to live and so forth, we need some kind of materials to support us. There's something beyond this physical realms. That's intrigued my mind when I was that young. And eventually when I came to the States, it came about. Actually I finished 4 years of college with my engineering degree, and now dedicate my life for this spiritual life. Anyway, so I think most of you, or you have that kind of experience, or some kind of miracles, some kind of wonderful things that happen in your life. So again, in religious traditions, we have all kind of biblical specific with the founders. For Siddhartha, before he was born, his mother had a dream of white elephants. Siddhartha's wife went into her wombs, and after that she recognized she has perception. And after that, he was born. During the day that she walked back to her parents' countries. And this is wonderful that where after he was born, somehow that's a miracle that he walked 7 steps, and other visitors to see that 7 little flowers that blossom underneath his step. And he mentioned that this is my last life of this kind of samsara. I was ending my last life here, and then be the enlightened one, and after that he become a noble child, like everyone else. So that's a miracle there. And you can see that's water pour from the sky, and so forth. So of course, for many young people nowadays, they may not believe this kind of miracles, but of course this is the faith. Whether you believe or not, that's up to you. So, for the kings, after his son was born, he asked the foresight from his council that what's happened to my son in the future. So they said that, well, he would be the red king in the future or enlightened one. So of course, as a kid, he referred his son become a red king. So somehow, when he grown up, the king tried to lock his son, the Prince Siddhartha, inside the palace. So he provided 3 types of palaces for him: the winter, the summer, and the fall, for him to enjoy all kind of luxuries, all kind of enjoyment. But somehow, at the age of 29, he got married. And one day he went out with his servants. He saw an old man. Another day he saw a sick man. Another day he saw a dead man. And the last one he saw a sick monk. You know, I used to tell my students, regardless of the tradition we follow, we basically the same. When we grow up, look at our gray hair. No matter who we are, and the life process that what later on Buddha mentioned, what they call the true suffering. I will talk about this. I really appreciate that he mentioned about attachment and so forth. This entire stuff here. So when he went out with his servant, he saw an old man. He asked his servant, "Who is that?" So his servant said, "Well, it's the old man." And he mentioned that, "Will I become like him or no? Or will I be younger forever?" He said, "Well, of course, no way. Soon later, you'll be old like that person." How make you recognize this kind of positive life when you see yourself, when you see your family members, relatives, or friends who are living in nursing home? This positive life. And of course, you know, when people talk about Buddhism, they mention about what only the first part is suffering. And they think that Buddhism is so pessimistic. There's no way. The Buddha mentioned about the problems of our life. We will discuss about that. So that's why somehow it triggered his mind when he went back to his palace. The next day he went out, he saw a sick man. Whether he's young or old, we have some kind of illness. There's no exceptions. Whether it's severe or not, we have some kind of illness. Even now, when we think we're healthy, but somehow we have some kind of illness within ourselves. So it's normal. And of course, the next day when he got back to the street, he saw a dead man. And of course, you know what happened in Dallas last couple of days, right? that somehow we lost 5 police officers, and of course because of misunderstanding and so forth. We cherish life, but somehow because of that kind of misunderstanding, we have that kind of problem. But still, no matter what, of course, one day we have to go. And the big question in any religion, or big question for everyone, or most people, think about where did you come from, and where are we going to? Where did we come from? I don't know, the sky or wherever. And where we going to? Is that the big question? That's why we come to church. That's why we come to temple. That's why we search more our spiritual life. We search more things beyond this physical body. How can we achieve to some state of mind that we might not have this kind of problems? That's what he tried to list out later on after his life. And the last day he went out, he saw a cis monk. Now in India, up to now too, who have been in India before? Please, who been in India? Okay, I don't know whether you are aware that even now in India they classify people in 4 classes. Okay, the first one is the priest class, not into Buddhism. This is the Brahmin or Hindu monks. The second one is the royal governmental class. The third one is the business people. The last one is the servant people or labor people. And even now when I went to India in 1998, 1999, I saw in front of my eyes, especially what they call the untouchable people, the one who live under the bridge. Many of them, young people or old, especially the young one, they don't have that opportunities, those in this country, because they belong to that class, the world class. So they don't have that kind of opportunities to go to school and so forth, and they live in that type of environment. Yeah. Even now, in modern society, not talking about more than 25 years ago. So when he saw a monk, he somehow is intrigued in his mind that, oh, probably that's the way for me to find something that's go beyond this body. And he recognized us, even he enjoyed his priest's life, but still, one day he has to go. He has to leave everything behind the earth. That's why he's intrigued in his mind. So because of this foresight, somehow this inspired him to look something further. And he left his palace after he got married and had a son. And he spent for 6 years to practice what we call assist practice, I mean self-torture. But later on he found out that this could not have any kin. So somehow he took off and went to by river and sat down under what they call the Buddha tree to do meditation for 49 days straight. And how many of us can sit for 49 hours? Not 49 days. Of course, because he has strong, firm determination to find out the truth of life. That's why he could sit for that long. And for the last day, he achieved what we call enlightenment or nirvana. What does it mean by enlightenment? Anyone of you know? What's enlightenment? Every morning we wake up from our dreams. So does Siddhartha, the Buddha. He just wake up from the dreams of life. And we will talk about this. Many of us, most of them here, this is most things has bring us problems. We are attached to our cars, our house, even our body. But one day, what happened? Boom! Everything is gone. You know, last couple of weeks ago, I took a group of young people, they're here with you too, with us here, to Indiana. We have a center over there, and somehow when they took them to the park, the place, and in front of the park it was a freeway. And while they were playing, somehow, boom, 2 cars involved in car accident, and 2 persons died on the spot. And with this young age, I told them that this is the reality of life. In one instant, you still alive. In another instant, you will be gone. That's this reality of life. So that's why Siddhartha, he had that strong determination to sit under that tree, to look deeper in his mind, to recognize his mind, to recognize what we call Buddha nature. He recognizes Buddha nature. He awakened on his Buddha nature. Good nature or the Christ nature that we talked with reference recently. We ourselves have that nature already. And that's what we talk about mindfulness. What is mindfulness? The things that we do and we know what we're doing. When we drink, we know what we're drinking. It's so bad sometimes, when I'm driving on the road and somehow I saw some people, of course, it's a speed ranger. Sometimes while they were driving, they watch movies. Of course, I don't know, but in Texas, do you give a ticket if we talk while we driving? Do they? Not yet. But in California, if you go there, be careful. Then they give you probably at least $200 per ticket for talking and driving. Yeah. Anyway, so that the mindfulness is what we do, whichever we do, we know what we do. Awakening doesn't mean he recognizes the things in every moment of his thought, every moment of his action, every moment of his talking. Was with enlightenment, awakening. Many times, while we're talking, somehow we cannot recognize what we're talking about. That's why sometimes we offend other people because of our talking in an unmindful way. So for the Buddha, he recognized every instant of his life, every thought, every action of his action, word that he say. That's what we call enlightenment. So what is again? And we will talk about the nirvana. Yeah. Okay, now what he recognized here, he can mention anicca or impermanence here. That's what he recognized. And things come and go. The moment that I'm talking, that is present, right? The thing I can finish my sentence, that's the past. And the thing that I'm going to talk, that's the future. The present, the past, present, future connect with each other. This come back. It's nothing lasts forever. Even this physical body. So that's what he recognized. And the next one, what we call dukkha, true suffering here. I will go over that again later on. And the other one is what we call no self. No self, eternal, unchanging self. Most of the times, we understand ourselves. Oh, this is my name. This is my body. This is my hand, and so forth and so forth. Whoever touch to my house and so forth, I may sue that person. Because of that kind of attachment. But there's no real self. When we're done, this is our life. We may be down on the ground. We will be cremated. And there's no more self. But this is a real self, what we call Buddha nature, a good nature, or Christ nature that has within ourselves. Of course, this is more in the physical aspect, but I just want to discuss. Okay, the next one, please. Okay, so that's when he attained enlightenment or become a Buddha, that's what we call an awakened person. He went to the deep part to give lecture to teach to find his followers, first followers, what they call the true suffering, the cold suffering, the inner suffering, the part and suffering. Now, again, like you mentioned recently, this one, many people have misconception about Buddhism. Whenever they say about Buddhism, they say, oh, that's this tradition. But still, when we sick, we go to see a doctor. What's the first thing the doctors mention? For example, if we have stomach ache, the doctor would indicate, oh yes, we have the stomach ache here. That's physical suffering. And the second thing they mentioned, wow, probably you have eaten wrong food. They cause suffering. And if you stop there, you don't need to pay a dime for him. You may walk out of his office. But if you say, Father, well, you have stomach problem, we can help you to end this suffering. And the last step is say, oh, take my medicine, take my prescription. Go to Sylvester buy medicine and you'll be well. Is it logic? You follow me? So that's what the Buddha did. He laid out this kind of path for people to recognize what happened with ourselves. But the first one, what is true? Whichever thing has happened in the past, it is happening now, or it will be happen in the future. In this view is the truth. The first one, what we call the physical suffering. Again, I just mentioned that we have some kind of illness. We get older, and one day, no matter what kind of cause, we'll be gone. And we hope that we could live to 100 years or 120 and so forth, but still one day you have to go. That is a physical suffering, especially with ourselves, or when we deal with the problems of our family members, whenever they get nursing home and so forth. We could not dare to see. We could have the courage to see the time just pass away. How many of you have seen or witnessed your family member or friends pass away in front of your eyes? Many. This is broken, right? When we witness a kind of reality of life. But one day we have to go. That's what the physical suffering and what we call our, let's say, mental suffering. And what was, even the young children, young people, they have stress, school stress, peer pressure, stress, and so forth. Not talking about us. We have all kind of responsibilities. We have to be responsible for our families, for our job, and so forth. Have stress, anxiety, depression, and so forth. That's why mindfulness and meditation is the way how to transform our mental disturbance, so that we at least, whether we young or old, we could handle our mental state of mind. When you get older, let's say 100 or 110 or so forth, can doctor do anything? No way. It's too old for them to fix, right? Of course, we're still young, we're still healthy. If we have some kind of illness, we can see a doctor, they give us some kind of medicine and so forth. But when we have that age, they could not do much. But regardless of the age, of the gender, if we know the truth, we can transform our mentality. That's what the Buddha mentioned here about mindfulness and meditation. So again, we have this body, this physical suffering, we have mental suffering, of course spiritual suffering too. We have sometimes we have some doubt about the other traditions. Sometimes we try our best to find out who we are. Where did we come from and where we go to? And another level is economist suffering. Sometimes, we work for more than two decades. Somehow, suddenly, when we came to the office and they say that sorry, this is the last day. This happened, some of you, right? This happened. And that's how many of our friends, not me. I have not been working out there yet, but still I know there's many young people, young or old people, especially in this area, right? When they work for the tourism company, right? When the gas price go down, so anyway, so this is a suffering there. We have to face with this kind of suffering. And that's what we call the first one, the true suffering. And the second one, the true, of course, a co-suffering. Again, this one is one thing. Attachment. The attachment go hand in hand with anger. I have met many couples. They had wonderful time with each other for many years, but suddenly, probably because some causes, somehow they brought themselves to the courts and they become enemies with each other. This happened. So, why when we love someone too much that they don't love us, that what happened? We have that kind of anxiety, that kind of anger, that kind of hatred. It's just like the pendulum, the two sides. Our mind always swing back and forth between attachment and anger. If we could not get the thing that we want to, we have that kind of anger in our mind. And that's why it disturbs our mind. That's why even in the secular mindfulness approaches, they mention about what called detachment. And even my student, I used to tell them that, whenever you go to the class and have a test, don't expect anything. If you have too much expectation on your test, in the school of your test density, you may be nervous when you sit down to take a test, and because you expect that you will get an A. But because of that kind of nervousness, you could not have that type of clarity in your mind due to that expectation. So, like that lady just mentioned that when we got enlightenment, awakening, we just before enlightenment, we just chop the wood. But after enlightenment, we just chop the wood, but different way. Yes.
So, if I can shift to Christianity for just a moment, we have the sort of the concept of a struggle between the devil and God in Christianity. Except if you look in the Bible, you don't really have, Satan is the tempter. He works for God, he's part of the process, okay? So now coming to Buddhism, I understand that being mired down in Maya, in illusion, and waking up and achieving enlightenment, but where does Mara come into that? This idea of an evil one in Buddhism is a little bit, I just don't understand it, so I'm bringing it up. Thank you.
You understand what this question about? As long as we have the thought or the idea of duality, good and evil, we still get stuck in Buddhist way of life. Probably it's pretty hard concept for people in the West to recognize. Again, let me go back. We have seen what happened in Dallas last couple of days. Somehow the shooter was a soldier. Is that right? Before, probably he was a good soldier. But now, of course, some of them they would not claim themselves as I'm not brand him as a terrorist, but still, he shoot down 5 police officers. In Buddhist views, good or bad, it starts from here. One moment in our life, it could be changed from good person to bad. So this it depends on our state of mind, not the person. Even the criminals, he still love his wife and children. So that's why this story, a martial art man, he went to see a Zen master, and asked Zen master, do you have, I don't believe in heaven or hell. Can you show me heaven or hell? And the Zen master scolded him. Why was you so stupid, guy? What happened? So he of course took out his sword to kill the Zen master. And the Zen master said, this is the hell. When he's angry, he raised his own hell. When we are compassionate, we raise our own heaven. When that person, the soldier, raise that kind of problems, he raise his own hell. You understand that? So when we have compassionate mind, to have homeless people, to have other people, we raise our own heaven on earth. That's why almost every month, last October, we go down to downtown Houston to have homeless people. Especially I like to teach the young people to think about others, to care for others, so that we can create this heaven, this pure land on this earth, physically and mentally. So again, go back to your question, go back to your comment. Evil or good is the state of mind. And so that's why, especially in secular mindfulness, we have to go beyond that. We have to accept whichever thing happen. You know, I don't know whether who know the Lotus Sutra in Buddhism, you know about Lotus Sutra? Lotus Sutra. Yeah, Lotus Sutra. Lotus Sutra. Some of you recognize, right? In that particular sutra, in one session, the Buddha mentioned about what they call Devadatta. Devadatta is troublemaker monks. He gave Buddha all kinds of problems. But in that particular sutra, Buddha said, because of him, I could achieve enlightenment quicker. He's my teacher. And you know, many of us here, if we encounter problems, if we deal with all kinds of hard people, probably that's the instant, that's the time we wake up. Is that right? When people give us bad comments, we wake up. Is that right? And if they give us some kind of good comment, we may not care much. But if they criticize us in the way, whether it's right or wrong, we really be careful of what we do. So in Buddhism, we can view things in a positive way. Whether they are helpful or supportive, that's great. Or they obstruct us, that's okay too. We can accept the situation. We can accept them as the way they are. And if they give us a hard time, if they press on us and so forth, that's a wake-up call for us. And even the young people, when they go to school, sometimes, or most of the time, they don't want to take a test. But the test is for to recognize how much knowledge they have learned. And in life, every of us, or most of us, we have to take the test in school, at work, at home too. Sometimes the spouse, the husband or the wife give each other a hot house. Our friends too. Probably that's a wake-up call for us to how to deal with them, how to help them out. Let's say when we go back home and somehow our wife complains that, wow, you don't wash the dishes and so forth. That's a wake-up call for us. Why don't we step into the kitchen and help the ladies? That's bad. And many ladies too, somehow they think, oh, fixing the car or do the heavy stuff for the man. So they're so dependent on the man to fix things. And when the husband or the man don't do, they complain. Is that fair? So my point is, as long as we have this kind of comment or criticism, we can recognize whether we need to wake up or whether we need to fix or change our attitude or change our way of life. That's great for us. So they are teachers. That's why, even in college, there's many great professors. Most of them give the hard test for the students. And because they want to train the student to be a professional, to understand the subject well. You understand that? So go back to your points. Moral, evil, or goodness, this is two aspects of life. It's two sides of the coins. If we know how to socialize, if we know how to view, it will be helpful for us. But if it gets stuck, oh, you are evil, you obstruct me and so forth, that has to create more anxiety, would raise more hatred in ourselves. We could not accept them easily. I set up my center in India now, right before September 11. And of course, we went out to do the service for communities right after September 11. And somehow we have discussion about what's happening, and I mentioned, what do you think when you see the news about terrorists and so forth, and you have the kind of conception about them, but you may not know that the person. They still love their families. So because of the news, of the misconception, somehow we bring them in that kind of names. And even, I just mentioned recently, the soldier, how he was a great man in the army. But still, because of one instant of his hatred, he created problems. So again, good or bad, evil or goodness is the state of mind. Okay? Sorry, we stay too long on this one. Alright, so again, in mindfulness, next time when we talk about that, we talk more about acceptance. Accept what we are, who we are, accept all the people who they are. So that's why we can have peace with ourselves. We talk more about that. Okay. So again, let me go back. Because something the Buddha said that because of what? Attachment. And if we don't have this the way we want to, or the way we keep with ourselves, we have that kind of anger. The side effects. That's the problem there. And that's why the Buddha provide the path how to stabilize this mental disturbance between two poles. One attachment, another pole is anger. And of course, like the doctor, he said that we can end that type of suffering, especially mental suffering, stress, anxiety, depression, and so forth, through the path to end the suffering. And what we call here, what we call the Eightfold Paths: right views, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right concentration, right mindfulness. I think some of you know about this one. How many of you have known about this? Okay. So what do you think about what's meant by right view? Have any idea? What's meant by right view? Yes. Recognize what? Recognize the ways they are. Recognize what they call the law of karma. That's the right view of life. And the next one is connect what we call right intention. You know, in our temple, I like to instill the young people, young children, the young people that they have to develop what we call compassion, kindness, forgiveness. This universal idea, is that right? It's been teaching everywhere in any institution, or churches, any church, any temple, or everywhere. That's universal. They are universal teachings from Buddha, from Jesus, and so forth. And I show them some clips that the mothers, that laws, the daughters, because of the gun problems. So the mother forgive the shooter. Again, it's universal teaching, universal principle that we recognize. And even in Buddhism, we care not only for human, but also for animals, for environment. And I think probably this church you talk about this thing too, right? We care for the pets. I used to talk to our young children that if you care for the pet, you care for a dog and cat, why don't you care for chicken? Why don't you care for pig? If you love pets, if you love animals, it means you have to have that kind of impartiality toward animals, not be selective with dog and cat alone. So that's why we try to instill this kind of idea to the young people that they need to develop the kind of compassion, kindness, and so forth. That's what we call right intention. Why? Because we want to be cared of. We want all people love us. So that's why we need to care for others. We need to share our things with other people. We need to spread our compassion toward other people, or loving kindness toward other people. That's what right intention is for. And right view with right intentions, let's start off with the mind. Right view, right intention. It's not with the mind. You know, one day I walk through the campus in the University of Houston. A young man stopped me and asked, "Oh, are you a monk?" I said, "Yes." And he said, "Well, can you tell me quickly what's about Buddhism?" So I told him that, before I mention this, before I mention my response, how are you? How many of you could describe quickly what's Buddhism about? Can you? Yes, sir.
I believe the Dalai Lama says you can sum it up in one word. He says, my religion is kindness.
Thank you. And not only Buddhism, but Christianity, Muslim, and so forth, we advocate this kind of kindness. What we talk about intention there. It's universal. And that's why I respond to that young man. Okay? So again, this is mind. This stuff from the mind. Right view, right intention stuff from the mind. And again, the mind is the important agent. It's like a driver of the car. And when we have the right heart, right mind, or right views, and right intention, we have right speech. We will not curse. We would say some pleasant things to others. And we would not say something that's harmful to others. That's why I mentioned to many young people, be careful when you go to airplane. If you say, "Oh, I carry a bomb," good luck. So we have to say it in the right way. And the next one, reaction. That means whichever we do, we need to consider about what we call law of karma, cause and effects. This is universal. So if we want people to care for us, we care for others. If we want to live longer, for in Buddhist view, we release animals, we release birds, fish, turtle, and so forth. We help other people, we help homeless, we go to see people, every people in the nursing home, we care for them. That's what we follow, what we call law of karma, a cause effect here. That's what right action is about. And right livelihood. You know, I have a center in Atlantic City. Have you been in Atlantic City before? Anyone of you? It's even second Las Vegas. There's many casinos, buildings. Most of our Buddhist followers, they work there. And sometimes when they went there, you know, when the first time when they went there, one gentleman, he asked me, you know, around here, we don't have any jobs available except working for a casino. And you know what happened in casino, right? People come and burn their bodies there. Many people, they jump out from the building. They commit suicide, they sold their house, car, and so forth because gamblings. And work in that kind of business, industry, again, in Buddhist view, that's not right livelihood. Because they get the salary from this kind of people, the one who commit suicide because they lost again. That's in Buddhist view. And so that's why once Buddhist Sutra, Buddha said that we need to stay away from the job, occupation that may be harmful for others. Like in a butcher, selling poison, selling drugs, harmful drugs, and selling weapons and so forth. That's wrong, what we call wrong livelihood. It's understandable. But for these people, that the one, even they are Buddhists, but they get stuck there, as I told them. We have plenty of choices. We don't need to, it's not that we cannot live at other places except here. You can go to other places that we have a job available. So sometimes they don't want to change, so they get stuck with the karma there. So that's what I mentioned. So that's the next one, right livelihood. And the next one, what we call right effort. Right effort is, this is two pairs. The first pair is, if we have done the good deeds, we need to do more. For example, during Thanksgiving holiday, Christmas holiday, a New Year, so forth, we send the gifts to our families, to our friends, and so forth. But we don't do that often during the years. So that's why the Buddha said that if we have done good deeds, just try to do more. If we have done that, try to initiate, try to do now. And that's the first pair. The second pair is that if we have not done any bad deeds, like taking drugs, and so forth, don't do that. And if we have done, try to stop. That's what right livelihood is about. What time we need to excuse me. 1:45. Okay, so we have. Okay, we have 10 more minutes. Okay, let me stop here. So, do you have any questions before I go further? Yes.
So, right livelihood, soldier, military, is that appropriate?
Oh, okay. Yes, that's what when I have a class, the Buddhist class in school, they mentioned, can a Buddhist be a soldier? When you're a soldier in the battlefield, you either kill others or other people will kill you. So can a Buddhist be a soldier? How will you say yes? How will you say no? Why say no? Why? So who will protect the country then? Who will protect the country from terrorists or whoever invade our country. So what do you think? Yes? Yeah. Oh, what do you think? Yes, sir.
I would say it depends. And it could go back to right intentions. What are your intentions? There's some armies I'd be just fine being part of, and there are others I wouldn't want to be part of. And if they change their intentions, I might want to leave the army. So my answer is it depends.
There was a story about the Buddha past life. Though in Buddhism we believe in reincarnation. How many of you believe in reincarnation of the birth? Oh, most of you. Wow, I'm surprised. You know why I'm surprised? Because even one of my followers, he said, I can believe anything that Buddha taught, not the birth, not in the cycle of life, because he said that we don't know where did we come from and where we headed to. This is understandable. But again, let me go back to the story. So one of the Buddha past life, he was a leader of a merchant, and he led a group of merchants go to the sea to search for the treasures. And somehow on that boat, there's one criminals or thief. He wanted to kill all of them so that they keep all the treasures. And what happened? The Buddha killed that person. The Buddha in the past life, not present life, to rescue 5 merchants on the board. So let's go back to the question. Yes, the Buddhists can be a soldiers, but with, again, like you say, right intentions. We protect our country, we protect our citizens in the right way, in the proper way, not in the way that we care less about the other people's life. It's common sense. But of course, whenever the soldiers or police officers shoot out at criminals, yes, he creates some kind of criminals, there's some kind of karma too. But on the other hand, he protects citizens. So that's been what we call here, according to law of karma, or law of karma, he creates both good and bad karma. So it depends whether you can wait, which one is heavy. So if he has intention to protect the citizen, to protect the innocent, yes, that's good intention. If he misuse or abuse his power, his gun, he may end up in jail. Is that right? With common sense. So that's what right intention about. Okay, any more questions before I go further? Let me talk briefly about right mindfulness and concentration. So next time when we come back here, we can talk about that too. Now, let's talk about right concentration. You know, many young people, they really focus their mind on games, shooting games, violent games, and that's a problem everywhere nowadays. It's everywhere, in America, everywhere, especially the younger generation. And they focus on the game, they really focus, but still in the wrong way. This kind of games can then become a violent person, abusive person, and so forth. That's why the Buddha said that we need to have the kind of right concentration. Concentration in the right way, in the compassionate way, in the loving ways. Especially for the ladies, where you are in the kitchen, you need to be careful what you cook for your families. And while you're cooking, if you're talking, what happens? If you cook wrong seasoning, you know, sometimes people cook wrong, sugar instead of salt. Is that right? It's happened? That's because we're not mindful. Alright, that's why whenever we do things, we need to be careful what we are doing. And when we're driving, yeah, we talk about texting while we're driving. It's danger for our life. And when we really focus on our mind, we'll be more successful, especially the business people. If we focus on the subject or the thing that we deal with our customer and clients, we'll be more successful. Especially for the young people, if they want to get a job, they go to have interview. If they have this kind of mind, if they're confused, they would not be accepted easily. Right? And in the for students too, especially while they take a test, they have to be focused, have to concentrate their mind in the right way. And so that's what we call the right concentration about. And what we mean by right mindfulness? Right mindfulness is a series of right concentration, the right focus. And like when you listen to it, you recognize what I'm talking about. But when you talk with friends, you know what they're talking about. When you're drinking, you know. When you're eating, you know. That's what we call the right mindfulness about. That's the difference. We talk more about that. Okay. So any more questions before we go further? So that's again the path that the Buddha provides for us. How to deal with our mind. How to transform our mind. We can be the doctor ourselves, especially with the right views and right intentions. And most of the time, here, the reason why we have, let's say, mental suffering because of this kind of attachment here. Expectation, that's what I mentioned. But if we have the right view of life, let's say, let me go back to the problems that we just had recently. We may not know the intention of a soldier who went out to shoot 5 police officers. Is that right? We may not know about his state of mind. But at least in the physical, we recognize he done harmfully to the police officer. Because he could not control his mind. He could not control his mind that he may think that police abuse their power. Is that right? That's why he tried to revenge. That's why now we recognize the problems. We need to have built up that understanding among our citizens, among the people in this country, to understand each other, so that we would not do any harm on each other. So, if we recognize that everyone wants to live peacefully, everyone wants to live happily, and even the dog, the cat, when you yell to them, they run away. Is that right? Not talking about human. So if we know that kind of beautiful concept, we would treat each other in a nice way, in a compassionate way, and we would create the heaven on the earth. And in Buddhist view, we would create the Pure Land on the earth. If we care for each other, if we understand each other in the compassionate way, in a loving kindness way. Okay? So let me end now, so that we can have the break. Speaking before the break, do you have any questions? Okay, how about let us take a 10 minutes break and we come back.